Hi, I'm Engelbert Humperdinck and you're watching Noise 11.
And welcome into noise11.com. Our good mate Engelbert Humperdinck back in Australia.
Thank you, nice to be back.
And you've been very busy since we last had you down here.
Yeah,
There's been the record with The Break. We've seen you on Eurovision. You've been working on a duets record and touring the world.
That's right. Just about 3 weeks ago I was in Russia and then of course I had spent a week in LA at home, and then I came straight to New Zealand, and from New Zealand to Australia, and here I am doing the tour.
Russia must have been exciting.
It is. We were in a place called St. Petersburg, and they have a thing called, is it White Light?
White Nights.
White Nights. And the sun is out at 12 o'clock at night. Mm-hmm. It's unbelievable. You know, you can't believe how pretty that looks, you know. But I had a nice time in Russia and everything went very well. And since I started my tour in Australia, it's been extremely wonderful, believe me.
Well, you've been working on the duets record, which is pretty exciting stuff. And we've just heard news that Gene Simmons from Kiss will be joining you on this record.
Isn't that something? Yeah. It's going to be very exciting. I mean, I haven't had the pleasure of meeting him yet, but it's going to be soon.
Can't wait to hear what that collaboration sounds like. There's already Elton John on the record.
Elton, there's Smokey Robinson, there's Willie Nelson, Kenny Rogers, and Neil Sedaka, and it goes on and on and on. You know, there's some very exciting names on this particular album. I'm so thrilled that everybody has responded to, you know, and wanted to work on the album with me, and I think it's just been a very exciting project.
Well, the Elton John song in particular was such a big song as a result of Princess Diana.
Yeah.
Because the song was actually, I think it may have been the B-side of the
I know it was a big seller, that's for sure. Yeah. And he was great in the studio. He was just absolutely fantastic. What a great man to work with, you know. I mean, he has such a way about him that he makes you feel comfortable. Mm-hmm. You know, I was so comfortable. I was nervous to work around him because then the guy is, you know, such musical knowledge, and I was just happy to be singing in the studio with him. It's amazing.
That's incredible. You were nervous.
Yeah, well,
after all these years, you still get nerves.
Oh yeah, I do. I did. I was nervous. And you imagine working around a Motown master like you know, Smokey Robinson, who is a genius in that kind of music. You know, and I learned a lot from listening to him, and he gave me some direction, which was great. I love taking direction, by the way. Mm-hmm. I love direction. I'm not adverse to taking direction from anybody, and learning. I love to learn.
Mm. What I did notice last time we spoke was how much of a music fan you are. You really do love all styles of music, don't you?
I do like all styles of music. You know, I'm involved with my music. I help to arrange a lot of the music on stage. You know, my stage music is a lot of my creations. So what you hear on stage, sometimes you'll say, well, I can't believe that, but that's my music coming out. You know, I sing it into a microphone, and my music director writes down the music. So therefore, that's what happens.
Well, one of the recent collaborations you had was with an Australian band, The Break, featuring members of Midnight Oil and Brian Ritchie from the Violent Femmes. Yeah. And I remember in this very hall when Brian came to see you.
Yes, I remember it well too, and it was a very, very great moment because something wonderful came out of it, you know, and he was so great to offer to do it, and now it's done. I hope everybody enjoys it because it's a song. It's a great song. It's a great party song, you know, and it's sang at every sort of barbecue, you know, and any fun situation, people sing that song.
Yeah, the song is 10 Guitars, and of course it's somewhat of an anthem in New Zealand and probably India as well.
It was a double A side, really, because I think Gordon Mills put that song. He wrote the song and he put it on the B side of Release Me, which of course sold millions around the world and gave me a global career immediately. You know, and not many people are given that opportunity in life with their first record, you know, to swing around the world, you know, and it happened with me, and I do thank God for that.
Wow, so Release Me was actually the debut record.
Yes, it was the debut, yeah.
And even, we must be 50 years or almost 50 years down the track.
Actually, it's 1967, January
67,
the 13th.
so 40...
January the 13th. 1967, and that's when it came out, and that's 46 years ago.
That's fantastic. Yeah. And you're performing 10 guitars on this tour.
Yes, I am. I'm doing it now, yeah. And getting people to hear. It's not the exact version that we did with the break, but it's close to it, but it gives people an idea of the song that is involved on that particular record.
Now, there's something also very exciting, new for Engelbert Humperdinck, and it's this book, From the Heart, and this is heading out into bookstores, but you can get it online, and we'll put the URL for fans to be able to see. But let's talk about this. This is something that I guess is a labour of love for you, because every day you write a quote.
I write a quote, yeah, and I don't know where they come from and how they come into my head, but it's a form of a release valve for me on a daily basis to be able to write a quote that means something from my heart, and it's original. And I hope that people enjoy my daily thoughts.
Do you have a favourite quote that you would like to share for the audience?
Well, there is one. It says, "Each time we pray, it's a step closer to God's ear." I think that's one of my favorites. And one of the easy ones is, "Simplicity is the essence of success." But there are many with real meaning behind them. Let me just see. I like this one. It says here, "Fighting for a cause can sometimes feel like using a pencil without a point."
Magnificent.
Isn't it a fact?
Yeah. And you were showing me before that you carry your mobile phone with you, and when they come into your head, in the phone
when they come into
go?
my head, I just put them straight down onto my memo pad, and then I transfer it to my computer, and then into the, to log it in forever.
Right. It's amazing looking at the diversity, and you're not afraid to try other things too. I mean, you even shared a record with the Red Hot Chili Peppers there at one point.
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
I mean, I've sang some very strange material like Lesbian Seagull and things like that, for Beavis and Butthead Do America, and it's been a very wonderful journey for me, and I hope I hope it never ends. I still enjoy being on stage, and I still enjoy traveling around the world and working it and bringing new material forward, and working with all these brand new artists that I've had the pleasure of working with now, in this duet album. It's such a joy. It's such a joy in my life at the moment. Thank you.
So many, or so few artists of your age work as hard as you do. Bob Dylan performs a lot every year. Tony Bennett performs a lot every year. And Engelbert Humperdinck, and I can't really think of anyone else who works as hard as the three of you guys.
Well, I think I've been in the business now maybe not as long as the Rolling Stones, but they're still working very hard, and they travel all over, and I love them as a band, and I'm hoping. I like all the greats, I like the Eltons and the Rods and people like that, Brian Adams. I like him. He's great. I like a lot of them. A lot of the old acts, the great performers.
And I guess a lot of you started your careers around the same time.
At the same time, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you were there at the same time that Cat Stevens was coming up.
That's right.
Yeah, you knew him, and
well.
do know him very well.
Yeah, I do know him very well.
Now, I think he borrowed money off you at one point, didn't he?
Yeah.
Did you ever get that back?
In the early days, he said, "Have you got? I need £5." So I said, he said, "I'll give you a check." So I said, "Okay." So I gave him $5. He gave me a check. I never cashed it. It's still hanging in my office back home as a treasured memory of our meeting.
Yeah. What about Jimi Hendrix? How'd you meet him?
Jimmy was on tour with me, so that was one of the greatest moments of my life. And Jimmy played guitar for me one night when my guitarist didn't show up. And now who can boast that? Jimi Hendrix played guitar for you. I can.
And Elvis Presley was a good mate too, wasn't
Yes, he was wonderful. Probably one of the dearest people I've ever met in my life. The most kind-hearted, benevolent people you'll ever come across. He would be driving in his car, and he sees somebody on the street with barefoot or something. Whatever he had in his pocket, he would take and give it to them. And say, "Get yourself a pair of shoes." And he was that kind of guy.
Very misunderstood.
I don't think he was misunderstood. I think he was mishandled by his friends, and it is a great loss to our industry.
Yeah, you've had so many great songs over the years. After the Lovin', There Goes My Everything, The Last Waltz. Yeah. They're all still in the set list. Yeah. Do you ever tire from singing those songs?
No, I don't. You know what? The show that I do has all been trial and tested. It's the songs that the people that come to see me want to hear, and so I sort of keep them. Since they've been trial and tested, I keep them in the show, whatever is the most popular, and I keep them in the show and I sing them. Plus, doing all the new stuff from the new album, the duet album, etc. I do a virtual duet with Elton, and I sing some of the songs that the great Willie Nelson's going to sing with me, that was written by Bob Dylan, and there's some great stuff on this album, really. And Dan Wilson, who wrote Adele's big hit, there's a song by him on there, that he wrote on there. So I've got some great material on this album.
Because you started working with Dan, didn't you? And that's, I guess, when this record started to come into being.
As a matter of fact, Dan was the one that produced the Elton track, in LA. So I was very thrilled about that, to be working with him on that score, besides being a writer and a good singer. He's a very good singer, by the way. An excellent singer. I learned a lot from him, yeah.
Well, I can't wait to hear the Duets record. In the meantime, Engelbert Humperdinck, it's always a pleasure to talk to you at Noise 11.
Thank you very much.